morning. It's Sunday. It's a little after 11 here. We are live on the Inside Edge Network with your Sunday sports show. I am Chad Bryan. Over there, we got Ryan. No, just kidding. Over there, we got Ryan Mosser. I know which way to point. I don't know which way my hands go. And that is TK Dandridge. Guys, man, how's your weekend? I guess the weekend's almost over, but whatever. It's okay. We still had some time on Sunday. Ryan, your weekend going good, man?
Yeah, man. Yeah, had a great day yesterday with the family. Got a lot done and got my burn pile burned. It was huge, and I did it at like 2 a.m. so the neighbors wouldn't call the cops, and we're all good now. So
They're looking out the blinds. Like,
yeah, it was giant, brother.
Nice. All right. Well, you gotta have a bonfire every once in a while. Even if you don't invite the neighbors, you still gotta have a bonfire. TK, man, what's going on? You have a good weekend?
Yeah, it's been pretty good so far. Decided to get cold again this morning, but shouldn't stay too long.
Yeah.
Get a little more of it tomorrow, and then should be all cleared up by Tuesday.
We just keep doing this, man. You and I talked about yesterday. Like, hey, it's kind of like feels like spring. It's getting a little warmer. And I wonder what time before I went to bed. There's snow all over the yard, and I'm like, man, come on, like let it go.
Yeah.
Please let it go. What is going on? Yeah, a little bit more. I think a little bit more snow, and then we always get one big one in March or April somewhere. So I mean, I don't, I'm not disillusioned. Like I know it's coming. I just hope every year that like when it's over in February, it's over, and that's it. We actually get a normal spring, and not like the mud season or whatever that we get in Northeast Ohio. It's just
mud spring.
Yeah, like once it turns warm, it's just mud until like maybe mid-June. And somehow, magically, everybody around me can mow their grass, but mine stays so wet that I can barely walk on it. I gotta put a bunch of French drains in or something. But so listen, if you're watching and you know a French drain or you are a French drain person, please send them my way. I need a lot of help because I can't mow and my grass gets really tall and people go, hey, do you still live in that house? Yeah, we're still here. It's whatever. Anyway, what's going on? Happy birthday, Ohio. Ohio turned 223 years old back on March 1st. 1803, it became the 17th state in the country. And I remember it, guys. It was a Tuesday. I was watching Tuesday night, ABC TV, and I thought, hey, we're a state now. So that was fun. Happy birthday, Ohio, whatever that's worth. Oh, what do we have going on? We have a pretty good show. We got to talk a lot of combine stuff. There's a lot of stuff to get into, a lot of 40 times, a lot of vertical leaps, a lot of broad jumps, a lot of shuttle cone stuff. The offensive linemen haven't worked out yet, and I find that we were talking about just before this. I find that a little bit disappointing because I mean, we need an offensive lineman or 7. So it's just like I'd like to dig into that and kind of figure out maybe which way the Browns might go with that. But we can talk about wide receivers. A lot of people were a little bit disappointed with Carnell Tate's 40 time. I think most people from Ohio at least expected about a 4.5. I didn't think that was terrible at all. I think Jerry Rice ran a 4.7 back in his day or whatever, which also coincides with my day because I'm old. But I mean, yeah, CD Lamb ran, I think, a similar time to Carnell. I did these whatever.
Andrew Hopkins 4.6, like I mean, whatever. Yeah.
This hasn't held back some of the best wide receivers that we've seen in the game. So for people to freak out and go, oh, he's a second, third rounder, chill, pump the brakes on that. It's going to be okay. He's still a very technically sound route runner. He catches the ball very, very well. So I don't think we need to freak out and sound the alarms there. I think he's going to be okay. He doesn't have like Joe Burrow's tiny hands or anything, so I think he's going to be fine. Do you guys remember the Joe Burrow thing? He tweeted out that thing. He's like, well, I've been informed that I'm going to be unsuccessful, so I'm retiring because of my very tiny hands or whatever. But that was funny. He's been okay, except for the Bengals can't keep him safe and healthy. But that's a different story. Some rumors to Joe Burrow to Minnesota, maybe. I've heard that. I don't know where there's smoke, there may be fire. No, TK saying no. He's not going to Minnesota. Don't think so. All right.
They don't have enough for him.
No, yeah, well, you'll have that too. I mean, I wouldn't want to stay in Cincinnati if I were him. Listen, it's not about the fans or the city or anything else. It's just if that organization isn't going to give you at least some semblance of defense and some kind of offensive line, then man, that's a wasted career. It feels like a wasted career, but whatever.
It's going to be the next Andrew Luck.
There you go. And maybe you would be smart to be so.
And he's going to retire a week before the damn season starts.
Man, hey,
Nice.
sometimes you gotta send that
As a
message,
Browns fan.
right? Which we don't get to say very often, so that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I said that in the NFLPA survey because compared to the Steelers, the Browns were 30th in the league overall, and the Steelers were 32nd. I was like, hey, it's finally good to be a Browns fan and not a Steelers fan for once, except for that one playoff game, in 26 years. Fun times. Okay, anyway, we'll talk about the Cavs. They've got some injuries piling up very, very quickly and very suddenly, and just, of course, because we can't have nice things in Cleveland. Everybody's got a broken finger, a broken thumb, a strained groin. I was laughing with TK. I looked at my notes yesterday, and I said Donovan Mitchell has a stained groin, which is a completely different topic. They probably wouldn't keep you out of any games, but it's awkward nonetheless. So we're not. It's a strained groin. We confirmed that. And then we'll talk about also we're gonna hit the Guardians up, and they've got some injury concerns already. They've got the injury bug going on in spring training a little bit. Not as widespread, but a big name that would concern you because it's happened before. So I don't like to use the words injury prone, but wow, sometimes some guys just have bad luck, I guess. So let's get into the combine stuff because it's been going on for a couple of days now in Indianapolis. We've seen Andrew Berry talk. We've seen Todd Monken talk a little bit about some things. It's Andrew Berry talking about, maybe being a little more aggressive in free agency, this and that, whatever, which I guess I was a little surprised to hear. I mean, I'm not totally surprised that they're going to be somewhat aggressive in free agency, but and he did mention that maybe next year would be the year to be ultra aggressive versus this year for a lot of different reasons. You can only add so much, and they've only got so much cap space right now. So, but anyway, combine results. Ryan, we talk all the time about you. We've got Ryan Moster's big board. I do not have the graphic.
Good.
Come on, man.
Cornball.
But you love it. But I did not include the graphic. But I did want to just ask you. I know you've been looking at all the combine results, and I don't know if you want to start with a specific position group. You can do that. Just anyone who's surprised you with combine numbers that stood out to you. Whether it's, I guess we'll go positive first. Why not? Let's go good news first. Anyone that really just surprised you and kind of popped off the page and made you say, "Wow, I didn't really expect that."
First off, we'll probably talk about it later, but Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese both absolutely incredible. Probably the biggest shock of the entire combine. Two linebackers ran like two wide receivers, and both were Buckeyes, of course. 4.6 40, Sonny Styles, 43.5 inch vertical. His broad jump was 11 feet 2 inches, like alien level explosiveness. That's insane. And then Arvell Reese, who I thought is probably going to be a top 5 pick, probably top 3. Also a 4.46 40. Matching stride for stride with Sonny Styles. And his rare movement skills. He's 6'3" and moves like like he's 6 foot and he's a big dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They just didn't, also test well. They, validated everything that, we've seen on tape so far. Sonny Styles showed that, he's got incredible range, incredible explosiveness. It will make him a hybrid defender in the NFL. And then Arvell Reese showed, the long speed and power that make him, I think, a top 5 lock. So,
yeah, the Buckeyes I did pretty well for themselves, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And I saw a lot of talk, oh man, with the defense this good, how could they lose? You guys lost to Indiana with that deep. Well, the offense still has to do some things. Like you look at the Browns. Like the offensive line has to perform. You got to keep your quarterback clean. You got to keep him safe in the pocket. They do a very good job against Indiana or Miami, really.
Yeah, well, not to mention Ryan Day call plays too, which is out of the normal as well. So
yeah. I think Ryan Day is an elite head coach. I think he's an elite recruiter. I don't think he's an elite multitasker when it comes to trying to run everything on the sideline on game day. And that's not a knock on him. There's a lot going on in 3 hours, man. There's a ton to do. And it all happens in 25, 30-second increments. So, you gotta be on it. But I don't think that he's incapable of, processing things that quickly. It's just, there's too many things to do. You need to be able to delegate, and you have to trust the people that you delegate to. I think that's the
right.
biggest. TK, what about you, man? We talked about a little bit about it yesterday, but geez, man, the Styles brothers were ridiculous. Some of my friends,
Lorenzo too. Holy crap!
Yeah, come on. the 4.27 or whatever 4.26.
Insane.
Someone sent me a picture of them with their dad, who obviously also played in the NFL, and I thought, man, like TK, I said it to you yesterday. I was like, can you imagine the pickup basketball games at those family picnics? Like, my goodness, man. I mean, just the athleticism is like off the charts, man. It's unbelievable. But TK, anybody else that stood out to you that we haven't mentioned?
Oh, well, outside of our two amazing do-everything linebackers and the young safety Lorenzo Styles, brother Sonny, I thought Eli Stowers, the tight end from Vanderbilt, was absolutely brilliant. Cousin put up NBA combine type numbers. Son had a 46-inch vert. I mean, at 6'4", 250. Brother jumping 46 inches in the air at 250 pounds. That is always going to be impressive to me.
Time out real quick. I'm gonna give you your flowers. All right. I talked about Eli Stowers last week, and I said I have not seen any sort of athletic. Like he's fluid, but not super athletic, And he showed up. I saw what I saw on tape, of course, but like now that I see his athleticism, he is no longer tight end 21. I'm gonna have to reevaluate because dude showed up. So he's probably gonna be top 5 now because that's insane. Like I said, his tape didn't show athleticism like that, and that is.
Right,
buddy. You said I eviscerated him, and you were right. So I'm gonna give you your flowers on that. So,
hey man, it happens.
Hey, wait, be careful! Don't let him Vernon Golston you. Be careful. Remember, we talked about it.
I don't sense any Vernon Golston or Mike Mamula here at all. One, because he's not going to go in round 1, and 2, I definitely think. This kid does everything that you want a modern day tight end to do. He's definitely fluid with route running, has very good hands, and can still block. Now, the blocking game does require a little bit of fine tuning, a little bit of refurbishing, polishing off. But I definitely think he will get to that point. You think of some of the better pass catching tight ends in the past that have gone in the NFL draft, that had problems with blocking, that, take them time to get through with it through their first couple of years, but they eventually end up figuring it out. Remember David Njoku couldn't block a lick when they first got to the NFL. I think about how long it took for Evan Ingram to finally round his game out, because remember, he was strictly a pass catcher, did not want anything to do with blocking at all. And then he's like, I get the ball a significant amount. Maybe I should sacrifice my body a little bit more for my team and try to improve this aspect of my game. And he did it. Yeah. Definitely not a home block at the tight end position, but definitely much improved. And I definitely think Eli Stowers can be one of those guys that improves his blocking as time goes on.
Yeah, and he's definitely a willing blocker as well. It's not like he's not going out there and trying. He just gets overpowered a little bit. I think it's just his anchor. But I think he missed the most important part of his game, which is his IQ. I mean, he's a former quarterback who, he knows the field. He knows how to run an offense against a defense, and you see that in his game. So if that athleticism that you see at the combine matches his IQ and his willingness, I think he's going to be something good. I don't know. I'm excited to reevaluate him. Actually, I'm going to do that tonight. So,
well, what we haven't talked about a lot is special teams, Ryan. And Super Brother says, "Hey, watch out for the Browns' first-round pick, Georgia punter Brett Thorson." Says he totally balled out at the combine.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I wouldn't put this past Andrew Berry. Maybe they'll try to make him a left tackle. We like to move people. So maybe we'll draft a punter and go, hey, listen, as far as footwork, are you more comfortable on the right side or the left side? And he'll just go, huh? I wouldn't totally put it past him. One guy we didn't talk about that I want to bring up, and I'm just trying to scroll through all the windows I have open here. How about North Dakota State wide receiver Bryce Lance? Did you see any of his numbers at all? He got some decent combine grades, man. 6'3", 204. I don't know, hand size, whatever, 9.25 inches. I don't think that's like whatever. Arm length was fine. Not like Ruben Bain. We can talk about that in a minute too. but I'm trying to bring up my tops of my wide receivers page, and he graded out as if you turn on the NFL Next Gen stats or whatever, he graded out at an 86, which was tops for wide receivers, which sometimes I think means he just maybe he just competed in more, or he did more events or whatever than the other guys did. But I mean, how did you run Bryce Lance through your algorithm at all, Ryan? Do you?
Yeah, I got him. Yeah, I got every receiver in the draft.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked him. Obviously, this is everything I have is pre-combine, so I'm gonna have to reevaluate. I did not see him as athletic as he was either. He was the 30th receiver in my algorithm here.
Okay.
You know, I think he is a smooth, long striding perimeter receiver whose game is. I just lost my notes. What is going on? Sorry, I literally clicked out of it. Give me a second.
You're good. This moment brought to you by.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The one bad part about this is with me is I have it all in my notes, so I literally have to just scroll. So.
Oh yeah, right.
So
I wish you could put tabs in your notes so you could just like type a guy's name and find. You know what I mean? Maybe you could do that. I'm sure you could do that.
This is embarrassing. Sorry.
No, it's not.
We got it. All right.
This is riveting, actually.
No, I mean, he's built on vertical pacing, like I said. His body control is great, and he has a great ability to finish above the rim as well. He's definitely a XZ hybrid with the level 3-level utility as well. Like you said, 6'3", about 205. I think his ball skills are his defining strength. He consistently, extends to the ball, attacks it early, and maintains concentration throughout contact as well. His sideline awareness is advanced, and he shows the ability to, contort his frame to stay in bounds on tight windows throws as well. This is where my problem was. Athletically, I thought he was just functional. He had functional burst, decently smooth acceleration and, coordinated movement. I did not think he was a jitterbug, but I did think that, his game translated cleanly, through breaks and maintained balance through contact as well. I thought his long speed plays up when, he wins early in routes and, allows him to stack defenders when threatened vertically. Obviously, like you said, he was a standout in the combine. I wasn't expecting that. So I'm going to go through and have a lot of prospects to reevaluate here. But, I thought he competes with toughness. He likes to embrace contact at the catch point. He kind of boxes out like a center, blocks with real effort as well, and uses frame to, create his natural separation. So giving his athleticism, he's probably going to be ranked higher on my board. As I said, he was wide receiver 30 here. I'm excited to check him out as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds all those things that you listed sound like good AFC North qualities, to be honest with you. Just the ability to use your body and use your size or whatever. And by the way, North Dakota State, Super Brother said, they're moving up there. They're going to go to the Mountain West. So, look out, man. And you think like, okay, well, they're going to have a rough year. But we've seen teams go from FCS to FBS and immediately have success. So, you never know. North Dakota State, pretty good program. So, obviously, they're moving up. There's a track record there. But, as far as the next-gen stats go, I'm looking at them. I mean, they have Bryce Lance as their top receiver from NFL.com, above Mekhi Lemon, above Jordan Tyson, above Omar Cooper Jr. And I'm looking at this top 6 list, and I don't see Carnell Tate. But, again, total number of events participated in, I think, kind of plays into this too.
Sure. The only thing I question with that is like his level of competition is sorely lacking too. And I stand by the film. As I say, I did not see him extremely athletic, at least what he showed up like. So I don't know, we'll see how it translates to the NFL, but I mean, he's definitely way more athletic than I thought. So.
Yeah, and then certain guys play up or down to their competition as well. So sometimes you never know. I mean, it's the immeasurables really that you have to pay attention to. It's like, we seem to always miss. Speaking of the Browns, as a Browns fan, we always miss on things like, I don't know, like heart. We get these guys who they pop off the page a little bit athletically, and then they get here and they just have no drive, they have no heart, they have no whatever, right? They're
Thomas.
Blah. Yeah, they're just players, right? They're just guys, and they're physically impressive,
That first whisk of ice cold Cleveland air hits that ass in rapid time. Nate just said, "The hell with it."
Yep,
that's it, man.
Majority of them just said, "The hell with it."
So many 4th-round picks from Andrew Berry's out.
Yeah, this is a great point. I mean, the Super Bowl says the Browns just missed on guys who were just playing good at football. Time and time again, last year's draft was pretty good for the most part. I think the Super Brothers would probably agree with us. They got a little weird in the middle. I mean, we can all acknowledge that.
It was still malpractice not to draft an offensive lineman and still take 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, that was.
Nonetheless, how great the first 4 picks were. I still think Andrew Berry should have, been fired because of, the whole totality of the work he's done in Cleveland, not just the first 4 picks of the 2025 draft. But
yeah, no, I could definitely see
he's making the picks, and we got to figure it out. So take Caleb Downs, you idiot.
Well, yeah, and now even Caleb Downs, it was down on the list a little bit. I found some. Hold on, I gotta try to.
Those nerds don't watch film.
I'm scrolling through stuff too, and I can't find my. Caleb Downs graded out as an 84, which is a good prospect, but again, we don't have the complete picture. He didn't compete in every event, or not compete. He didn't participate in every event. Man, Sonny Styles grades out as a 94, just elite, and I'm excited for whoever gets Sonny Styles. I think he's going to be a better NFL player than he was a college player. That happens sometimes. I don't know. Any surprises at all? I was a little surprised, to be honest with you, that Will Kazmarek ran a 4.74. I thought he might be closer to 5. Whatever. I mean, I'm slow too. I'm not trying to throw stones, but I thought he might have been closer to a 5-second 40, to be honest with you. I just never really saw that kind of speed from him in Columbus. At times I was like, my goodness, is he how is he the only one in quicksand? You know what I mean? It just seemed like, but maybe he's just a big guy. Didn't look like he was going that fast. I mean, not that 4.
I mean, he came from Ohio University as well, to Ohio State. So there's probably a learning curve there as well. And then this year, all that competition.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's crazy. Yeah. I thought there's more validation than anything I had than surprise. Like David Bailey for me is my second prospect on my board for, he's not a surprise. National media might have thought so, but I thought, his explosiveness and Ben showed up in every drill. I think, I'd even take him at 6. People are going to hate me. People are going to hate me. I don't know. I mean, I liked what I saw from Colonel Tate. I exactly his 40 is what I expected. He's not a burner, but he is a technician. With like you said, so with grown man polish. So not really surprised. Had validations more than anything. So
yeah, I was surprised at the shock. I mean, people were just like, social media was like a buzz yesterday with Colonel Tate. Oh, Colonel Tate's slow. Look how slow he is. First of all, 4.5 is not that slow. I run a 4.5 but listen, 4.5 is not slow, man. And it's fast enough. I mean, at the wide receiver position in the NFL, if you're a good route runner, you can get a little bit of separation. You can, like you said, use your body, use, whatever, use your size, use your strength, things like that. I think that plays more, especially in the AFC North. I mean, there's not going to be, it gets cold, man. And there's not a ton of, burning and taking the tops off of defenses. If you got to have a guy that can do that, but I don't think you have to be able to do that to be a number 1 wide receiver. I mean, I think you can use a slot guy, or like you said, the Z, whatever. There's other places where you can look to grab like the burners on offense. It doesn't have to be your wide receiver 1. He's big enough. 6'2", 190 something, I think he measured out at.
Yeah, he needs to put on a little weight. He's like 195. I would like to be 205 and still maintain his speed, but
yeah. And exactly. So that's exactly what I said at just the top of the show. Jerry Rice. I'll take route running over super, burning speed. I mean, if we can have both, that'd be great. You don't want to ever turn down speed, but I think we've seen, the Raiders. Think about Davis drafting for speed. There was one year at the end of the first round, the Raiders, I can't remember what year it was, but they took a safety from Ohio University because the guy ran like a 4.24 or 4.26 or whatever it was. And he predictably did nothing in the NFL, I mean, you're super fast, but someone said it yesterday and it made me laugh actually pretty hard. When you're fast and you can't diagnose, if you're on defense, whatever, you can't diagnose an offense. If you're on offense, you can't really if it's a wide receiver, you don't know how to find the soft spot of the zone, whatever. You just make mistakes really fast, and that's that. I mean, you're faster than everyone, but you're not outplaying anyone. So it doesn't really show up on the field. What else? I'm going to go through the Ohio State guys. Davison Igbinosun, 4.45 40. I don't know if that surprised me either. That seemed to surprise some people yesterday. That surprised you guys?
No. God no.
There's a reason he was grabbing so many jerseys for a couple of years, right? Like, I mean,
well, I mean, a 4.5, 4.45. Sorry, definitely was a little bit higher than what I was thinking. I was thinking, he was going to go somewhere late 4.5, maybe high 4.6.
Okay.
So a 4.45 is actually pretty welcoming, given the circumstances. Like you said, grabbing a little bit of jersey from time to time, during those big games. Didn't really get beat routinely, but sometimes, that extra step would get him lost, and he wouldn't turn those hips in time. So
yeah,
a 4.45 40. Not necessarily surprised, but it is welcome. Shows that he's a little bit faster than what we may be used to. Some things look different.
Everyone seemed to think he was slow, but I thought that too. Yeah.
Yeah, some things just look different in the games than they do, just in a training session or combine and things like that. So, it was refreshing to see. I think he can build off of that too.
And I think also might suffer a little bit. I'm not saying yips, but like after he was one of the penalized football players in 2024, especially in the college football playoffs. So him holding onto jersey or something like that, I think it's more up here than necessarily his speed. His athleticism didn't shock me at all. I just think coming into this next year, I thought he did a much better job at controlling his mentals. I think that helped him significantly. So he had much less holding penalties and things like that. So
yeah, and that was the knock on him all year. But I thought maybe people weren't really watching because he really didn't get called for that many defensive holds or pass interferences. Not like you said, not like the year before. The year before, the volume was.
He's one of the highest in college football. So
yeah, I thought it was much better last year too. I thought he looked better. I thought he was just maybe more confident, doing a better job of staying with guys. Still, he's a physical guy. And I don't actually have his size in front of me. Do you know what was his size at the combine? Do we know? I don't have that in front of me.
I don't know.
That's okay. We can look it up later. I wonder if he's going to be able to continue to be that physical in the NFL, I guess was my question there. He's
a little tall, 6'2", 193 it says.
Okay, that's pretty good size. That's pretty good size, pretty good length for a corner. So yeah, I don't know. I think he could be a decent player in the NFL. I've gone back and forth with him a little bit watching him. It's like you said, TK. Sometimes he has his moments where it seems like maybe he's just not mentally in the game, and you can get beat for a lot of reasons as a cornerback, right? It's not just it's not because you're slow or because you're a bad player. Sometimes it happens. Whatever. I don't have to get into it. Look at some of the fastest 40 times. If I can get to it here.
Jeremiah Love with the 4.37. All those guys in fantasy football who have first overall pick in Dynasty licking their freaking chops. I'm so pumped, bro. So
yeah.
Hopefully he goes. He might go Washington. Hopefully he goes. I want him to go to the Chiefs. He goes to the Chiefs. Oh man, dirty.
He goes to the Chiefs, it's gonna be game over.
Yeah.
Seeing that kid run a 4.36 40, I did not know he was that fast. Definitely seeing him fly off the hinges like that. Yo, fantasy football season is gonna be crazy. Can't wait to do my all-rookie team again.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. A couple of running backs. Mike Washington Jr. from Arkansas ran a 4.33.
Yeah.
What else am I looking at? I guess that's about it as far as the burners. The fastest time was Brennan Thompson, wide receiver, Mississippi State, 4.26. I haven't really heard a whole lot of buzz about him as far as being like a top, 2 or 3 round guy. Whatever. Like I said, you can be fast, but you also have to be able to play some football too. Who else stood out to me? There was who was it? Gosh, Lorenzo Styles at 4.27 blows my mind. That family is just unfairly athletic. That's not right. Whatever. I don't know. I can't wait to see the offensive lineman because I really want to. I want to dig into the O lineman really, really badly because this is where we need help. Like a lot of help. More help than probably we should right now if we had a competent general manager. We talked about that at the top of the show. It was surprising that you would let that fester the way that he has. I don't know. He didn't forget about it, did he? Like, what's the what is the reason that a supposedly competent general manager like, I don't know, but let's use Andrew Berry as an example. Just an example. Just, not to throw shade at him or anything. But I mean, what's the reason? How do you forget about your offensive line? Is that even possible? Like how does that happen, Ryan?
Because he's an idiot. I mean, like you said, it's clearly malpractice. I mean, yes, I love those first 4 picks. I've hammered this since the draft last year. I mean, those first 4 picks were probably the start of, maybe fast track to rebuild a little bit. Like we got studs, but the fact that we saw the state of this offensive line. I talked about it. Our entire offensive line, unrestricted free agents, excuse me. And the guys who are here, I mean, DeJuan Jones, unreliable. As much as we love him, as much as hope that we have for him, we cannot consider him as part of the factor because he's never is. Luke Whippler hurt himself. Zach Zinter's healthy scratch. It's malpractice is the only word to describe it. I've had a lot of rants about this issue and how pissed off I am about it. But I mean, we have a lot of picks to address this issue. I think it's unrealistic to, have a whole new line full of rookies and expect them to do anything. Hopefully we get a guy like Tyler Lindenbaum or someone like that in free agency just to, for him specifically, it would lighten the load, not to mention he has played under Munkin and Switzer as well and understands their terminology. So he could be the mentor on the offensive line. He's only going to be the one calling the shot. So, I mean, there's ways to do this, but I mean, nonetheless, it is just malpractice that he drafted 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, and not one single, he didn't address the offensive line at all. It's crazy. So
it's hard to believe. I mean, you have to be able to look at your contract situation and look at the ages of the guys that you have on that roster. And you've got to know something's going to give, right? I mean, these guys are going to play forever. The rumor is they're trying to talk Joel Bitonio into coming back for one more season. I don't know. I mean, the door hasn't closed there yet. That could be one
deal.
And listen,
deal.
Right. Please. I mean, I know Bitonio's getting older. I mean, that's what we all do each year. We get a year older, but I mean, he's been pretty steady his whole career. He's been he's been a Cleveland Brown, man. Whatever that means. I know some people say like doing things the Browns way. I don't really know about that, but he's just been a good teammate. He's been a good player. He's been a good, just a representative of the franchise, I guess. And it'd be nice to have him as somewhat of an anchor, even though he's, like I said, a little bit older, been in the league for a while. I know that. But it'd be nice to have some semblance of continuity there. It'd be great to see DeJuan Jones come back, and maybe we can move him back to right tackle, and he could be healthy for a year. That'd be great. But I think that would start to get you a little bit more settled in. And now it's like, okay, you can take a breather, right? Like you can go like, just let you air out, whatever. You don't have to replace 5 or 6 guys there. Now you're looking at 3 or 4, which is still a ton. But you've got a little bit of depth now, and you've got some starters on the offensive line coming back that you can go, okay. And again, we don't know if you can depend on DeJuan Jones to stay healthy or not. Not a knock on him at all. Listen,
like the guy, but you got to be on the field. So exactly. The best ability is availability.
And again, I'm not saying he's injury prone, but his history in the NFL has shown that he'll give you a few games and then something bad's going to happen. So we certainly don't want that for him. But we'll keep an eye on it. Let's do this. Let's keep an eye on our sponsor for the Inside Edge Network, Alley Rose Fragrances. We're going to go to break. We're going to take a break. But before we do, I want to remind you to please go visit our sponsor at alleyrosefragrances.com. Candles. Listen, vegan, cruelty-free, all natural ingredients. His candles smell absolutely amazing. I keep saying it. My wife is still burning one in her office. It's been going all week. It's been going strong. It's not even halfway burnt yet. Burning like 8 or 10 hours a day, and it's mowing right through it. It smells phenomenal in our house all week. It's maybe one of the only things about the work week that I'm really starting to like. It's how good the house smells when my wife's in there in the office. So that's fantastic. But please visit alleyrosefragrances.com and use our code Inside Edge 20, capital I, capital E. It's all one word, Inside Edge 20. You see it right there on the screen. You're gonna get 20% off your entire order. She's got candles, body mists. You see right here, Lavender Lullaby. I actually ordered that one. We have Autumn Day. It smells amazing. There's a Christmas tree, and they're just to look at some of the body mists as well that she has available. So if you want to smell good, you want your house to smell good, you want somebody you love to smell good, whatever it is, go to allyrosefragrances.com and use our code InsideEdge20 to get 20% off your entire order. When we come back, we're gonna wrap up the combine stuff. We've got a few more things to talk about, and then we'll get into some other Cleveland sports. It's an all Cleveland day, basically. I know we're talking about the combine, and all those guys aren't from Cleveland. They're not going to all play for Cleveland, but we're looking at them as maybe potential targets, or just thinking about what guys might fit into the Browns scheme of what they're trying to do. So again, when we come back, we'll get it a little more into that. We'll talk. Unfortunately, we got to talk injuries when it comes to the Cavs. They're the walking wounded right now. It's unfortunate, but nothing major yet. Knock on wood, nothing major going on, but just a lot of little nagging things that are kind of keeping us from really seeing what that rotation is going to really start to look like and take how it's going to take formation, I guess, going into the playoffs. But we'll get into that when we come back, and we'll talk a little bit of Guardian spring training stuff, because unfortunately they're dealing with injuries as well. So I'm going to leave the Alley Rose screen. But also remember, please, tonight, 10 o'clock, I believe. Let me find the slide. Do I not have the slide? Well, slide. Well, that's fun. So that was false advertisement. So don't worry about that. But tonight at 10, I don't know where that went. We have got the main event Sunday night. Rob Ruzicki, Eli Moon, Anthony Alford. It's Sunday, so tonight they're going to have they'll wrap up your weekend with all the sports stuff going on. Please tune in for that here on the Inside Edge Network. You can find them on Facebook, on X. I want to say Twitter, but whatever, it's X, I guess. I have to go with the times, and on YouTube as well. So just hang with us. We'll be back in about 5 minutes here on the Inside Edge Network. All right, welcome back. Oh, hey, look at that. What? I don't know how that happened. Well, anyway, back over there. To the Sunday Sports Show on the Inside Edge Network. I honestly have no idea how that happened. That's funny. While we were gone, I was able to. There's the main event promo slide. I found it. So again, Sunday night, about 10 o'clock. Rob, Anthony, and Eli will get you started on just kind of recapping all the weekend's events. I'm sure they'll talk a little combine stuff. I'm sure they're going to talk some Cavs things. They'll mention a little bit of that, I'm sure, tonight, as we will just now. But I did want to make sure that we got that up there. Since I did mention the show, I'm going to make sure I had the slide in there. So sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Anyway, let's put a bow on the combine stuff for now. I think let's get into just I guess, Ryan, tell me, we were gonna get into like kind of D tackles and linebackers this week. And I guess as far as that goes, we'll kind of put the combine stuff aside and just go back to your big board.
Okay.
And you can, like I said, I know you haven't run it through after the combine results yet, so we don't really even necessarily have to scrub them together just right now. We've got plenty of time leading up to the draft. I am physically getting ready for what I hope to be the Inside Edge Network combine, where we run 40 and do vertical leaps. And well, I wouldn't really call it a leap in my case. It would just be like a vertical, like brief moment where my shoes don't touch the floor. But that's fine. We don't have to get into the terminology of it, but
He's like, what? Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, champ.
hey, listen, man. If we want to get drafted, this is the work we have to put in, right? So,
Drafted by the military, or
Right.
If you knew my athletic shape right now, I mean, my stock is plummeting on the draft board. It's fine. Oh no, I'm afraid to look at the comments. What is this? Well, yeah, this is true. So I can put this up. Super Brother says, "I've seen Chad." I told you, there are no lies here. Listen, I may be many things. One of them is not a liar. All right, I'm perfectly honest.
Right.
And Super Brothers, I don't even know if I can get both feet over the credit card. I mean, maybe just one. I don't know. We'll see. It's more of like a step drill. That's fine. That's sad. Okay, so let's talk about DTs and let's talk about LBs. Pounds. I feel like the Browns could use a linebacker. We've got, the bad news about JOK. It looks like he's not going to be playing this year, and I would be shocked. If he played again. I hate to say that. It feels terrible to have those words even come out of my mouth right now, but I really would be very, very surprised if he plays again, and it's sad. Listen, it does happen, but what do the Browns do? I mean, do you think that is linebacker, or is that a little bit too much luxury to add a linebacker right now, Ryan? But if they do, let's say, who are some of your? We'll go linebackers first, I guess. We'll go outside in.
Yeah.
Give me like your top 3 linebackers and tell me a little bit about them and tell me how they might fit in with the Browns or not.
First off, no. This team, I've said it before, this team is several years from competing. So, I mean, I'm not worried about need right now. I'm trying to stack up the best players overall. That's what I care about. My linebacker one is everyone's right now. Arvell Reese, linebacker from Ohio State. He's actually my 3rd overall player on my big board total. He's the kind of linebacker who makes the field feel smaller the moment that he steps onto it. 6'4", 241, and moves like a Yeti, dude. He's I don't even know what that means, but I mean 4.46 speed, guys, insane. 37.5 foot, vertical inch. He brings a physical profile that we simply, it doesn't really exist very often at the position. He's built long. He moves much lighter. As an athlete, and he plays, with a forward-leading urgency that forces offenses to account for him, before the ball's even snapped. You don't draw many linebackers who can legitimately, threaten the edge like a pass rusher and still run down the perimeter plays from death. And Arvell Reese is, one of the few who can. His tape jumps out immediately. It's incredible how violent he accelerates. He goes. His first 3 steps erase space in a way that changes pursuit angles for anyone else on the field. When he triggers downhill, he arrives with real force. He, his long arms extend, his pads are down, and has enough torque to stop momentum on contact. He even when his read is a bit late, his recovery speed makes up for it. Like he diagnosed it on time. He's that athletic. That's the luxury of having rare traits. He can fix mistakes with athleticism that most linebackers don't have.
Like me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll find out at the Inside Edge Combine. We'll find out, chump.
We'll find out.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna tear my ACL. Are we gonna get workers comp for this?
I guess
we gotta get paid first. So never mind.
I'm likely to tear my ACL just getting out of the car, walk into wherever. Yeah, I mean it could happen.
Yeah, Arvell Reese. His background in Ohio State shaped his versatility. Absolutely. They used him everywhere. He stacked, he walked up, overhung, the edge, and looked comfortable at every single spot. He's not the traditional Mike linebacker who lives in the box and stacks blocks all day. He's one of those modern hybrid linebackers who can chase, disrupt, and compress in space. His processing is still sharpening, but the urgency is always there. Absolutely. When he sees it, he goes, and when he goes, he closes. In coverage, he's more functional than polished, but the tools are obvious. His length lets him carry tight ends up the seam, and his stride speeds erase vertical space in a hurry too. He's still learning how to anticipate route combination, I've noticed, but he covers ground so quickly that quarterbacks feel him even when he's not directly in the throwing lane. His wingspan alone takes away windows that should be open. As a tackler, he brings real stopping power, as we've seen with Ohio State. Most of us are Buckeyes fans. He finishes with length, leverage, and violence. He's still developing the finer points of block deconstruction. Right now, he wins more with suddenness and slip ability than with refined hand usage. But his ability to stay active in traffic keeps him involved in plays where that should be dead. And with the combine, obviously that validated the tape. Obviously, 4.46 at 241 with a 1.58 split is absolutely absurd. Not to mention, 10 foot 5 inch broad, 35.5 inch vert. That confirms the lower body explosion that you see when he closes. He tested like an edge rusher and moved like an off-ball linebacker. That's a rare combination, and it's why his projection is so exciting. I think. Projecting him forward, I think he fits perfectly into a modern, defensive world. Multiple fronts, hybrid roles, pressure packages, and space-driven football as well. He's the defender who shrinks the field horizontally and vertically. The guy who ruins perimeter concepts because he gets there faster than the offense absolutely expects, and his processing continues to catch up with his physical gifts. I think he has the ceiling to become one of the most disruptive second level defenders in the league. So I love Arvell Reese. And if he's there at 6, I would rather take him than a receiver or offensive lineman. I'm just going to say that. I don't care. Okay. Caleb Downs first for sure, but yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, that's what I was going to ask you. Okay. Now, Ryan, I'll get to you in a second, TK, because I want to get your take on this. I'm assuming, TK, if he's there at 6, it's a yes. Well, but then what, like Brian said, what if it's between him and Caleb Downs? Does that create an issue?
I'd take Caleb Downs immediately. Yeah.
So it absolutely becomes an issue. Whether it's going to be Arvell Reese or Caleb Downs. Man, this is tough.
I know.
You want to say it's obvious?
Downs in his suitcase? Like, is that a thing or no?
No. What you think is, you want to think it's obvious because you don't know the playing future of Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I'm definitely on the side that he's not going to play again. The speculation is killing me. By the way, granted, that's not important at all. If you look back at that injury very carefully, it is very safe to say that we can easily tell why it has been so long since he was taking the field. He was very close to a half step away from being right where Ryan Shazier once was.
Yeah.
During that Monday night game. So I'm very mum on the playing future. Hey, if he wants to come back, more power to him. But brother, we all strive for physical and emotional well-being.
Yeah.
JOK, I expect you to do the same. So I really don't expect him to come back.
Yep.
Not to mention Devin Bush's career year last year may have priced him out of our plans. We're only $1 million above the cap room, above cap hell, basically.
Yeah.
we can't franchise tag him. Franchise tag for a linebacker is going to be at $28 million. And while he was wonderful last year, the highest paid linebacker in the NFL is Fred Warner, and he's currently at $21 million. And nobody's going to top Fred Warner. Nobody's topping Fred Warner right now. So, you would hope he'd sign a multi-year deal along the lines of, possibly 3 years, maybe $36 million, maybe a $12 million AAV. Hopefully that comes into play, something he might be interested in doing. But yeah, it may seem obvious because that need for linebacker, it's starting to glare a little bit. You definitely need somebody next to Carson Schwarzenegger after the wonderful season that he had. So it would seem obvious that you go with Arvell Reese. But I don't know, man. Caleb Downs in that secondary, with Denzel Ward and Tyson and Grant and Ronnie Hickman after the year he had. I don't know, Chad.
There's still a couple of Styles brothers to think about. I mean, I know Lorenzo, whatever. And now the Super Brother says, TK, don't forget, salary cap is a myth. And that's a little bit of a fluid situation.
I wish that was true, man. Wow. I wish that was true.
Conspiracy theories. I don't know. I that's a tough decision. And you brought up Ryan Shazier. Obviously not, a great memory of Shazier, but some people are comparing. I've seen Arvell Reese get compared. I've seen even one of the side kind of get compared to Shazier a little bit just because of the sideline to sideline. But I don't know that anybody's really ever gone sideline to sideline the way Ryan Shazier did. I mean, at least that's what I remember him for at Ohio State was just he was everywhere. He was always where the ball was. And even in the NFL, to a certain extent, either one of these guys, Styles or Arvell Reese, kind of, do they remind you of Ryan Shazier at all, Ryan?
To an extent. I mean, that's whenever you have the sideline to sideline linebacker like that, you think of Ryan Shazier as the prototype. He's pretty much the first one to do it. You obviously have guys like Isaiah Simmons, who we thought was going to be the guy from Clemson, like 5-6 years ago. Man, I'm getting old. It never really panned out. He got drafted in the top 10 to the Cardinals, and never really panned out. But I think what separates, Arvell Reese is an edge defender. He should be. I mean, he can play on the edge and be incredibly successful in the NFL. The fact that he can guard running backs and tight ends on the seam and go truly horizontally sideline to sideline. I think he might. I think he might be a little bigger than Shazier. I don't have Shazier's measurements, but I mean, that's rare, man. I consider him a werewolf. So if I'm gonna compare anybody, I necessarily don't know. I mean, the type, Shazier type. I think Arvell Reese might be the closest thing to that as of today. Okay. For Sonny Styles, I lost my notes again. Oh my gosh. Not necessarily the Shazier type, I don't think, but he definitely has one of the rarest physical profiles to come through the NFL, come through the pipeline for a linebacker in years. 6'5", 244. Who still moves like the jumbo defensive back they used to be. He played safety at Ohio State for a couple of years. You don't really see many players with that kind of length, that kind of stride, and that kind of explosiveness. Operating at the second level depth. And I think he shows up at the combine. When he 4.64 as well. That's insane. 43.5 inch vert, 11 feet 2 broad jump, and suddenly conversation shifts to, from interesting hybrid to, this is not normal. So I don't necessarily think he's a Shazier guy, but he 6'5", 244, who runs a 4.4, 640. Like, are you shitting me? What? He might be in his own classification of himself, but I'm so excited to see where this guy lands up. And, I can go on forever about Sonny Styles, but he's actually my second top linebacker. He's my 8th overall prospect on my big board. So before the line. So
and I said it earlier, with the next gen stats. Sonny Styles grades out at a 94, which is elite.
Insane. Yeah.
Arvell Reese he's just good at an 84.
Just good.
That's fine. It's just, he's okay. I love that you said he's a werewolf. It's funny because you were saying some of the numbers. I'm thinking like, this is evidence of the paranormal. Like this is
right.
This is crazy. Like you can't be that big and move that quickly. It's not fair. I think a lot of things get talked about at Ohio State as far as the reason, as if you can't lose a football game now and then. To playoff teams, 2 teams that played in the national championship, or there were 2 losses this year. But a lot of things get talked about as Ohio State as being the problem. I don't think strength and conditioning is one of them. They seem to develop guys physically just fine. So, yeah, I don't know. Where were we? We were talking about linebackers. Marvell Reese. Who else do you have on your big board that's impressed you just with the algorithm?
Yeah, I'll keep talking about Sonny Styles for a minute. I mean, I think what makes him, the most fascinating is not just the numbers. Obviously, I think it's the tension between what he is and what he's still learning to become. He's very young as a linebacker, and people don't realize that he's not finished at all as a linebacker prospect. He's the former DB who's still figuring out how the interior world works. I mean, he's the keys, the fits, the timing, the blocking engagement, and even with that, the developmental curve, he still produces plays that almost no one else in his class can replicate. I mean,
we're not human. Yeah, that's
right. Yeah, I mean, he erases space in a way that changes the geometry of a play. He carries verticals like a safety, which was great because he was one. So not only he understands how to cover very well. He closes like an edge defender. He's a matchup problem for offenses before the ball leaves the quarterback's hand. I mean, on tape, you clearly see flashes immediately, where he opens up his hips, runs, right up the tight end seam, never looks stressed at all. Plays where, he triggers downhill on screens and, detonates it before the convoy even forms, plays where he chases something down from the backside with stride length and, makes angles look unfair. Those are moments that tell you exactly why his ceiling is so high, I think. And you see the other side, the linebacker side, where his eyes are a beat late right now. The fit drifts or the angle forces him into recovery mode, but that's the gap between traits and instincts, I think. But the encouraging part with Sonny Styles in general is the gap is shrinking game by game. He's learning so quick. He's very smart. Ohio State, didn't rush his transition. They let him grow into a role, and then, you can see the comfort level increasing as he, logs more true second level reps, which I think is important. I think as a tackler, he's incredibly forceful. He arrives when he arrives under control, I would say. He finishes with authority for sure. When he's late or a little too aggressive, the pad levels rise a bit, and the strike point drifts a tiny bit. But the foundation is clearly there. His block deconstruction is functional. He's got long arms. He's got very quick separation. But they're still developing into like a true shed technique with him. With the combine, I think it validated his tape as well. He didn't just test well. He tested. I'll call him a unicorn. That's crazy. 6'5" linebacker, jumping 43.5 inches and running a 4.46 is the kind of profile that defensive coordinators start drawing packages around, before the draft card is even turned in. Yeah. Projecting forward, I think he is the definition of a modern hybrid defender. Early on, he's best used in roles that emphasize space, range, and matchup versatility as well. Overhang, apex, tight end eraser. I think he could be a perimeter disruptor. I think as his processing sharpens and his interior instincts catch up to his athletic gifts, he has the ceiling to become a true every down force who tilts leverage and shrinks the field for an entire defense. It's crazy. The top 2 linebackers are from Ohio State. I almost said Urlacher here. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm having a long day.
It happens. It happens.
Laurinaitis is his name. Jesus, sorry about that. James Laurinaitis, absolutely like a testament to what he's doing down there in Columbus as well. And you got guys like at Ohio State. Riley Pettijohn's going to be the next up. Eli Lee's another guy. There's so many great linebackers, and I think pretty soon it's going to be just like wide receiver U, just like DBU. It's going to be linebacker U at Ohio State. So
yeah, I hope they can figure out a way to become OLU.
They got some great prospects coming in. Very excited about Maxwell Riley, Sam Greer. A lot. I can talk about high school football a lot too. So
yeah, for sure. We can get into that one day too on the show. Yeah. TK, let me ask you this. Okay, as far as a guy, here's a guy. You've got whatever. Sonny Styles was a safety. We talked about it. Making the switch to linebacker, going to be a linebacker in the NFL. If you are an NFL scout, a coach, a general manager, what do you think the slider is on instincts versus coachability? Like he's obviously coming in, he's going to be able to he's a blank slate when it comes to playing linebacker to a certain extent, right? Do you want a guy who's like polished and has all the experience, or do you want a guy who maybe just has these athletic tools and you can just kind of mold him into the linebacker that you want to be? I mean, what do you think that I don't know how to ask that question. Is it like 60-40 instincts versus just skill and coachability? Is it 70-30 the other way? I mean, what do you that's a tough question, but does that make sense?
No, I get where you're getting at. To be quite honest, with a guy like Sonny Styles, he reminds me a lot of what Isaiah Simmons was when he was at the University of Clemson. But I think he is a slightly better player this part of his career at this point.
Okay.
So, as far as being polished, I think every coach in the NFL wants the more polished guy, because a lot of these guys run from coaching as much as they possibly can, and they refuse to run to it, because a lot of them are, kind of quackadoos. They may know more than me, but what is that saying, really? You're the one who gets paid millions to do this shit, not me. Again, I definitely think a lot of the coaches would love to have the more polished prospect. But hey, man, coachability and wanting to learn matters. That matters like hell. Folks always say, hey, man, hard work is going to beat the hell out of talent, especially when talent fails to work hard. And so if he wants to work hard, if he wants to learn and be able to play these multiple positions, listen, if I am a NFL coach, GM, scout, whatever the hell, I am playing Sonny Styles everywhere. Son, you're going to be an inside linebacker. You're going to be an outside linebacker. You're going to be at safety. You're going to be at defensive end. I'm going to put your ass at corner for shits and giggles just because I feel like it and I want to see what you can do.
Right.
David freaking Putney.
Yeah, we're in the red zone. Offense is struggling. You're going in at tight end, man. Whatever. I don't care. Go catch a ball. I mean, yeah, do something.
Tight end, fullback, H-back, whatever the hell. You're going to play everywhere, sir. At 6'5", 245, and with the athleticism that he imposes, you have to do something with him, if not every damn thing. Right. And if I am a coach, I am attempting to do every bit that I possibly can. I don't want him to be Lawrence Taylor. I don't want him to be Jackie Ham. I don't want him to be John Lynch. I don't want him to be T.J. Watt. I want him to be all four of them. Fair. At once, if humanly possible.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I mean, it's fine.
Right. So to stop all my damn rambling, I'm going to go ahead and answer your question and say, I honestly think in today's NFL, you want to go with polish, probably 60%, and the learning curve and the wanting to be great can take over the other 40. Because, like I said, a lot of these coaches run away from coaching. They do not run to it. That includes head coaches as well. But you would definitely like to see a guy that's like, listen, I got all this athleticism. I'm turning heads at the combine, doing this, that, and the other. My draft stock is going to rise. Maybe the tools that I have in my repertoire could use a rise as well. Yeah. So, any way I can, get some extra reps at linebacker. Granted, that is my main position. I'm still a bit void as far as experience goes at that position. So give me a little more there, inside and out. You have them do everything, inside and out. You want to pull around with the toy chest a little bit, put his ass at safety. Move him down the defensive end, have him play a little slot corner. The possibilities to use Sonny Styles in the defense are absolutely endless. So there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to make a role for himself in the NFL rather quickly.
Yeah, hey, versatility never hurt anybody when it came to getting a job, right? Or keeping a job. And by the way, the Super Brother says my age is showing with my John Madden reference. Here's the guy, boom, right? I would have thought it would have been the gray of my beard that showed my age, but he's probably not wrong there either. And the reason I asked, TK, it seems like Isaiah Simmons, like the Cardinals had a hard time really finding the right role for him, right? They didn't know how to. They had all this athleticism and all this ability, and they didn't really know how to use him. Maybe, or maybe he just had a hard time, transitioning to the NFL. I don't know. But it just felt like he had a lot of potential that didn't really ever. It just never. I don't know. It never panned out. Never got realized. So
sad. I loved him.
Yeah, he definitely had a lot of potential coming in to the NFL. The Cardinals didn't know what the hell to do with him.
Yeah.
You got this guy who's 6'4", 230, blazingly fast, not necessarily the best cover guy in the world, not necessarily big enough to be an every down defensive end, not technically sound enough to be an every down inside linebacker.
Yeah.
So a lot of moving and shuffling, and we don't know what the hell's going on. The last we heard of him, he was blocking a punt in the NFC wildcard game for the Carolina Panthers. So
Yeah.
there's still a lot of time, a lot of chances for him yet. I definitely think he'll get another opportunity.
Yeah.
Whether that is with the Carolina Panthers, I do not know. But I definitely do believe that this kid still has a chance to salvage his career.
Yeah.
We hope that Sonny Styles' career doesn't get off like that, but hey, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, I who knows? Maybe too many late night with Kyler Murray. Who knows? I mean, I have no idea. It could have been totally his fault. Ryan, let's move on to D tackles.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about your top couple of D tackles. Any names we recognize or?
There will be, but not first. Well, I don't know. If you follow the draft, you might. Peter Woods, defensive tackle at Clemson, is my top defensive tackle.
Okay.
So if you follow the draft,
Yeah,
he's a 6th overall player on my big board. I probably wouldn't take him at 6, but I mean, he's definitely good enough to, just because we already went with Mason Graham last year. So I mean, not, and I think there'd be better. If we're going best player available, I think, if there'd probably be a better player. But he's awesome. He's a kind of interior defender who makes the line of scrimmage feel smaller on an offense. 6'2", 305. Built low, dense, coiled, and plays like that. Excuse me, like his frame suggests. Everything starts with leverage and ends with power. He's not very long. He's a rangy 3 tech. You draw up, on a whiteboard, but the amount or the moment the ball is snapped, I think he's pretty quick. He's underneath people. He's inside the frame, and he's dictating how the rep is going to go. I think what jumps off the tape with him specifically is how quickly he gets into contact and how rarely he loses it too. He fires out the ball with more burst than you would expect for his build, for sure. Gets his hand set and then immediately starts, walking guards back or locking them completely out. His pad level is consistently low, which is awesome. His base is always wide. He plays, like he understands that whoever wins leverage wins the down, and he's the guy who's going to win usually. When doubles come, he doesn't panic. He sinks, widens, fights to stay square. You can feel how much effort it takes to move him, for sure, I think. As a pass rusher, he's not just a pocket rusher who hopes something good happens. I think he has a plan usually. He'll hit you with a quick first step, then transition into power, and forklift a guard, into the lap of the quarterback if he needs to. He's got a real club grip and swim work. He's pretty decent at that as well. And he knows how to work edges instead of just running straight down the middle of a block. He's never going to be confused with a twitchy edge as well. I think but for an interior guy, his ability to redirect, to cross faces, and to finish is absolutely starter caliber for sure. Mentally, he plays like someone who's been well coached and actually listened to his coach. He reads blocking schemes fast, down blocks, reach doubles, all of it. And you can see him adjust to his footwork mid rep and stay in phase as well. He doesn't over penetrate. He doesn't chase ghosts in the backfield. He doesn't blow seams trying to be a hero. He understands fits. He understands where the ball is trying to go, and he constantly forces it backs to hit plan B. The motor is exactly what you want from a high-end interior prospect as well. He chases down the line. He works through contact. He doesn't shut it down when the play moves away from him. There's a physical edge, the way he plays, I think. He's not just, occupying space or trying to win it, then first own it. Clemson's staff trusting him early with a loaded room says a lot too. You don't get the snaps in that program unless you're reliable, and he got them early and often. There's the combine piece as well. I mean, or lack of it. He didn't work out in Indy, which is their choice. Some of the top guys aren't doing it, so there's no 40, no jumps, no agility numbers to dress up the profile, I think. think. But, for some guys, I think that would leave big question marks. But with Woods, it just puts more weight on what he's already put on tape, I think. You're betting on the leverage, the power, the processing, and the effort you've already seen, not a testing sheet. I think, projecting forward, I think he looks like a plug-and-play interior, starter immediately. He can live at 3-tech, slide into shedded looks, hold up multiple in fronts with, without losing who he is, I think. I think he's the type of defensive tackle that, he might not lead the highlight shows, but he'll quietly control games by winning first contact, resetting the line, and making everything harder for an offense between the tackles. Kind of like what Mason Graham we saw this year. So
exactly, that's just what I was going to say. Yep.
Yeah.
Any concern? He's got a little bit as far as the measurables go. His arms are a little bit shorter than you'd love. But man, Clemson just what is it with Clemson and these defensive tackles? Like, did they recruit them well? Do they develop them well? Like what?
It's crazy. I'm not nervous about his hands. I mean, he's so quick to get into contact. I don't think it matters too much.
Get inside.
So
okay.
But Clemson's defensive tackles are on another level, so they're always so good.
Yeah, and it didn't matter. We've seen defensive coordinators come and go, and it doesn't seem to matter. It's bizarre. Some schools just have the knack, right, to get those guys. And it's got to be something within the coaching staff. Somebody's developing these guys. TK, Peter Woods. Any thoughts on Woods? I mean, is he one of the top defensive tackles to you? And I'm glad you said Mason Graham, because everything you were describing was like, well, this is everything we wanted out of Mason Graham. And for the most part, everything that he had basically done all year. I'm not so concerned about I don't care about a 40 time for a defensive tackle. Do you care about that? No, I don't care about that at all. It's irrelevant. I can't, unless you're chasing down a quarterback from the backside, and then, hell, you're probably in trouble anyway if you got a defensive tackle chasing down the quarterback from the backside, trying to get him on the sidelines. TK, any thoughts on Peter Woods?
I like Peter Woods a ton. I definitely think he is another guy that versatility comes to mind. Obviously at 6'2", 300, not necessarily the ideal 3 technique. But he does have the talent. He does have the toughness. He does have the charisma to go out there and play the 3 technique position. Of course, he can obviously play in a 3-4 as one of the ends. I like the kid a lot. I really like him a lot. As far as, players that he kind of reminds me of, he's got a little bit of Zach Allen to him. If you watch him out there, in them trenches, he can definitely, like I said, not necessarily the ideal 3, but can play the 3. It is a damn good 3. Can also play in that 3-4 set. So I really don't think he'll get lost in the shuffle regardless of what defense he goes to. I definitely still see him being one of the first 15 picks of the draft. And I do believe that other than Ruben Bain and David Bailey, very well. I don't even know what to consider David Bailey anymore. Is he a defensive lineman? Is he a linebacker? I'm not really sure. I think I'll be able to answer to that soon. But if we're gonna go offensive lineman, he's definitely in the top 5 of defensive linemen, and I do expect him to be a top 15 pick and be an immediate impact player as soon as he lands on whatever NFL team he gets chosen by.
Okay. All right. I think that's fair. A lot of talk about short arms for defensive tackles this year, right? Ryan, I'm curious to see who your other defensive tackles are, your top couple guys. Who's your next guy?
Yeah, number 2, Caden McDonald, defensive tackle at Ohio State. He's the 21st overall player on my big board, so still in the top 25 there, projected first-round pick. I think Caden McDonald is the definition of a space eater who actually understands how to weaponize his mass. He's 6'3", 320 pounds. He's a big dude. And he's built like a boulder. He plays like 1-2, low, heavy, impossible to move when he decides he's not going to go anywhere. Some interior guys, rely on what'd you say?
It sounds like my kids when they decide something.
Yeah. Some interior guys rely on sides without really knowing how to use it. That's not Caden McDonald. He's the absolute opposite. He plays with intention. He plays with leverage. He plays with the kind of stubbornness that makes offensive coordinators rethink running anything inside the A-gap. What jumps out immediately is how naturally he handles contact. Most big bodies, get tall when they're stressed. he sinks. He absorbs force, drops his hips, turns double teams into stalemates. When he wins first contact, he wins it often. He controls the rep. Guards and centers struggle to get into his frame because he's already underneath them. He gets that low. He's already locked out, already dictating where the block is going. He's the type of defender who makes linebackers look faster because he keeps them clean. As a pass rusher, he's not going to be something that he isn't. He's not a looper. He's not a finesse guy. He's a pocket compressor. That's what he is. Okay. His bull rush is his calling card by far. Heavy hands, thick core. Enough initial burst to get linemen on their heels. And when he gets inside their pads, the rep is over. He'll walk a lineman straight back into the quarterback and force the offense to reset. His launch point. He's not going to rack up flashy sack totals, but he is going to create the kind of interior disruption that makes everyone else's job easier, which is very important in the NFL. Mentally, I think he plays like someone who's he's seen every block scheme in the book. He reads down blocks early. He recognizes pullers before they clear the line. He adjusts his alignment to stay square. He doesn't just chase plays out of structure, and he doesn't get fooled by window dressing. He is disciplined. He's one of the reasons Ohio State trusted him to, in the rotation full of NFL caliber talent as well. He does the dirty work without compromising the integrity of the front, which is important. Physically, he's exactly what you want from a true interior anchor. Thick lower half, strong hands, natural leverage, a motor that doesn't fade just because he's carrying 320 pounds, not 200. He plays with effort. He plays with toughness. He plays with the kind of competitive edge that shows up on film, even when he's not making the tackle. The combine didn't change much for him. He measured well. He looked the part. He confirmed what everyone already knew, which is, he's built for trench warfare. He's not the type of prospect who needs a 40 time to validate his game at all. His tape is the testing for sure. Projecting him forward, I think, Caden McDonald fits perfectly into a defense that values interior stability. He's the guy who keeps the structure intact. He's the guy who runs the bounce. He's the guy who makes third and short feel like third and long. And with continued refinement in his counter work and conditioning, I think he has the ceiling to become a long-term starter, brings physicality, discipline, and reliability to the heart of a defensive line for the next 10 years. So.
Okay. I think there's a lot to be said when you can kind of, like you said, you can collapse the pocket, especially obviously in the passing game. He may not get a ton of sacks. He's not going to chase down a ton of quarterbacks, but when you can wreck the middle of the pocket and you can't now as a quarterback, you can't step up and make a play, right? You can't just step up into the pocket and make a throw because here's this giant mountain of a man. Now you got to get outside. And there aren't a ton of quarterbacks in the NFL that can really be that effective getting outside and running. Even some of the fastest guys. I mean, you find out the speed of the NFL game is very, very it's lightning quick. I think we saw the Seahawks have some success in doing that same thing. Just with that guy that just wrecks stuff in the middle. Obviously some stunts and twists and disguise some things as well, but that comes with the territory as well. TK, what's with Ohio State and all these defenders, man? Like, what is
so many?
Wow, what is happening? Is this a development thing or a recruiting thing? Is it both?
Gentlemen, this is the new world order of Ohio State Buckeyes football. It's exactly the way that things are supposed to be for at least the next 10 to 15 years going forward. I definitely believe that 5 of the first 6 selections will be Buckeyes in this draft. And they're all going to go back to back. It's going to be 2 through 6. They're all going to be Buckeyes.
I don't know. It's going to be a lot in the top 10. I don't know about 2 through 6 though. That'd be amazing. I'm not doubting it. It's very much possible. I have 4 or 5 Ohio State Buckeyes in the top 10 for sure. That's crazy to hear out loud though. So
yeah, I just and it's crazy to hear it out loud, especially for a team that didn't do that well in the college football playoff. Obviously, let a lot of people down there, but just the overall talent of this 2025 Ohio State Buckeyes football roster, I could definitely see it going. New York taking Arvell Reese, the Arizona Cardinals taking Caleb Downs, Tennessee Titans, possibly taking Sonny Styles. They need some defensive help. A do everything linebacker would definitely be wonderful to have. And of course, hey, listen, I just really love this class a lot. I definitely think the Ohio State Buckeyes football takeover is commencing now, right before our eyes, and this is just something we should get used to.
Well, how long is Matt Patricia going to be there? I mean, do you TK? Do you feel like he stays 4, 5, 6 years, or do we only have maybe 2 more seasons?
Son needs to stay there and become the grand poobah of Ohio State University. Period.
I mean, he's got shoes with his face on him. I mean, what else do you want? Do you see that? Do you see his custom shoes? He's got some like custom shoes with his face. I thought it was kind of funny. I don't know how marketable that's going to be. I don't know if I'm buying Matt Patricia shoes, whatever. But yeah, I mean, he's got shoes with his face on them. I would stay. If somebody made shoes and put my face on them, I'd stay there for a while. I mean, come on. Yeah, I worry about that. I worry about him just attracting attention. I don't know if he'll go be a head coach in college or if he's more likely to go be a defensive coordinator in the NFL. I'm not really sure. I haven't really decided there yet, but I do worry about him just attracting a ton of attention. Because regardless, and the Super Brothers makes a good point here. I mean, yeah, when you have the NIL going on, I mean, of course, you get a really good roster, right? When you can open a wallet and spend money on it. But the difference with Matt Patricia a clear difference with Matt Patricia coming in year one. And maybe it was just all the talent. I mean, look at all the, I mean, we've seen the way that they've tested. I mean, now it's obvious. These guys were, like I said, basically paranormal at every level. At every level, they had someone like this. The Buckeyes did. So maybe it's the talent, maybe it's the coaching, maybe it's a little bit of both. We'll see. I'm sure they'll have guys that are physically capable of stepping up and making some plays next year, and we'll see how the defense looks from this year to next year, whatever. But Ryan, one more guy I'm going to ask you about, Rueben Bain Jr. Where do you have him on your list?
All right, let me get to it. Sorry.
You're okay. No worries.
A little bit not expecting Bain. All right, so I have Bain actually as my edge 2, pretty significantly below David Bailey from Texas Tech. I think he's my 14th prospect overall.
Okay.
Sorry, with Bain, I do like Bain. Okay, I do.
Right.
How
do you feel about the T-Rex arms?
I don't care about the T-Rex arms at all. I think that his tape has clearly shown that he can compensate with or without that. So,
yeah, I make jokes, but TK and I have talked about it yesterday. I mean, he absolutely wrecked Ohio State. I mean, there's no,
for sure.
It didn't slow him down. So,
I mean, he's compact, leverage-driven edge, whose game is built on hand violence. Small hands, but hands nonetheless. Sequencing, the ability to control the point of attack. I think he plays with a naturally low center of gravity that allows him to anchor against bigger tackles. While still generating meaningful displacement as a pass rusher as well. His ability to absorb contact, reset his base, and reestablish leverage give him a translatable foundation to both phases as well. As a pass rusher, I think he wins with timing and hand precision, and then the ability to transition between moves without losing balance. He's not a pure bend specialist, I don't think, but he corners efficiently through body control and leverage. His rush plan is advanced. He understands how to set up moves, how to counter quickly, how to finish with urgency. His ability to convert speed to power makes him, a consistent problem for tackles who struggle to anchor as well. Mentally, I think he plays with a strong diagnostic ability. He recognizes blocking schemes very early, adjusts to misdirections, and rarely loses contain as well, which is huge. His discipline in maintaining rush lanes and executing stunts make him a reliable piece in both even and odd fronts as well. I think physically he competes with toughness, and he has got a relentless motor as well. His frame is dense and well distributed, giving him functional strength that shows up consistently on tape. He plays with urgency, finishing plays down the line and working through contact with effort that really fades. Overall, I think they project as a high-end edge prospect with the versatility to play multiple alignments. His blend of leverage, technique, and competitive temperament give him one of the most translatable profiles in this class. I think he's a player who can impact both phases and elevate a defensive front through consistency and controlled aggression. His T-Rex arms, alligator arms.
Yeah. Little T-Rex.
They really don't, they don't really do too much for me. I think, yeah, his arms are short, comically short for an edge, if you're being honest. And that's, usually a real historical red flag. But my algorithm doesn't punish length in a vacuum. It punishes length when it shows up as a limitation on tape. And that's the big thing. I think with Bane, the tape says the opposite. He, like I said, he wins with leverage battles, because he naturally is low and compact. His hands are violent. He sequences moves like a veteran, speed, power, inside, counter, repeat. He's plays with torque balance. I think that, he's one of the few short-armed rushers who never looks stuck on blocks. And I think that's important, specifically when looking at tape, when you're talking about his arms, because that is a historical red flag. So even though, he walks into the combine with those T-Rex arms, I think, he walks out with a grade that reflects, high end technique, leverage mastery, consistency, disruption, a body type that actually helps him win his style of reps. He's not a traits bet. He's a proof of concept technician who wins in, the same way every week. And I think that'll translate to the NFL.
Yeah, I think the power and explosiveness, his quickness. I think again, he's going to get inside quickly enough to, maybe the arm length doesn't play into it so much. And so if he comes off the side, he comes off the field, he's on the sidelines, he may need someone to help him take his helmet off. That's okay. That's fine. I'm kidding.
Stop it.
I'm kidding. No, he's a really good player. He's a great player. Again, he wrecked Ohio State. I'm making jokes. And these things I would not say to his face, by the way. I wouldn't say these things to his face. Right. To be honest about it. But no, I'm kidding. I think he's a great player, regardless of that. I think it's funny how a couple of guys have these physical limitations that normally, like you said, are red flags. But everyone's kind of just willing to overlook it because you see the explosiveness, the power on tape, and the productivity is you can't argue with that.
Right.
TK, you and I talked about Ruben Bane yesterday. I don't think we need to go in any harder on the short arms. I think we'll be fine. I think he's going to be fine. We're going to be fine for that matter. Let's put a bow on the combine, on the draft talk for now. I think that's enough. Man, an hour and a half. That's crazy how that time flew by. I mean, it absolutely flew by. But there's plenty more to get into, to be honest with you. There's even more. So we'll get into that. We've got weeks until the draft. It's about a month and a half, almost 2 months until the draft. So we've got plenty of time to get into it. We'll start breaking things down as soon as you have time. I know it's an immense task, Ryan, to run all these guys, especially after the combine results now, to put them back.
And I'm still not even done. So I still have to finish linebacker, safeties, and corners and then revisit everything. So it'll take about a month, but I'll be ready for the draft. So
fair enough. That sounds perfect. Let's move on to let's just talk about the Cavaliers. Obviously, the talk for the Cavs was, man, look how good they look with James Harden, and they've got Keon Ellis in here and Dennis Schroeder, and everything's going great. This is the Cavs that we want to see. They're starting to figure some things out, and then the injury bug hits, right, a little bit. Nothing major. It's concerning because you've got Donovan Mitchell. This is the time of year where Donovan Mitchell has a lower body injury and a nagging thing that makes you go, is this going to be okay for the playoffs? We don't know that yet. We're going to have to, we'll see it play out. But James Harden has a broken thumb, and Keon Ellis has a broken finger. Max Strus is still working to get back from the foot thing. You've got guys all over the court. Not even on the court, just all over the roster trying to come back from minor little things. And I mean, broken fingers and broken thumbs sound more than minor. Should we be concerned long-term? TK, I don't know. I mean, how much does a broken thumb on his non-shooting hand affect James Harden? How much Keon Ellis, we weren't really looking to him to, it's not like he's pumping in 25 a night anyway. Can he play with a broken finger on his shooting hand? Does that affect him defensively? Should I be scared going into we're transitioning into playoff time? Should I worry about these little injuries, these little nagging things with Donovan Mitchell, the groin, again, strain, not stain. Should these things worry me as a Cavs fan, TK?
I definitely think the most worrisome injury that we have is obviously Donovan Mitchell to his groin. But at the same time, I'm just looking at these injuries overall, and I'm like, you know what? Listen, I'm not the one to downplay injuries. I've never done that. I never will do it. These are injuries that can be healed and can be managed correctly before playoff time. Okay. It was March 1st. Playoffs don't start until the middle of April. We have time for these guys to get back in their groove, to heal, and to be able to be the best version of themselves as humanly possible. Now, I'm sure he can probably play with the broken finger, but having that nagging pain and discomfort all throughout your appearance, you can't be the best version of yourself that you possibly can be. Yeah, sure, he probably has no problem going out there and laying his body on the line for the team. But at the same time, are you getting the best me that you can possibly get? The answer is no. So just give him time to go ahead and nurse those injuries back to health. Don't necessarily have to wrap them up in Teflon, but, just notify that, hey, these are a thing. These need to be taken care of. And just do the necessary steps to take care of them. And we should be fine on playoff time.
All right. Well, TK, you won't let me wrap these guys up in anything. You said no to bubble wrap yesterday. Now no Teflon today. Is there any material that you'll agree to? Anything?
Put them in some damn saran wrap.
Championship material. That's it.
There you go.
Championship saran wrap. I'm for it. Let's start a business. By the way, did you guys see this? Look how good they look when the horn wouldn't stop. Did you see that? I guess there was a power surge in the arena tonight. The horn was literally going off forever. I mean, the game got played. That's hilarious.
That was wild. I never experienced anything like that. And I know those poor fans in Little Caesars Arena had the meanest migraine ever as it was going up, because you see how loud the arena got once they finally got the horn off.
Right.
And then of course, hearing the manual air horn for the first time, son, I about fell over. That was the funniest damn thing that I had ever experienced.
He says, you think they got some free pizza? Maybe. Listen, if you guys missed it, we have the whole 12-minute video. Let me pull it up. No, I'm kidding. Just watch 12 minutes of the horn going off. Ryan, I don't know. I mean, I can't wrap him up in bubble wrap. I can't wrap him up in. So I guess I have to move on to championship saran wrap is what I have to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you concerned about Donovan? Donovan Mitchell's the one that worries me the most with the groin injury. Like I said, every year at the end of the year, and it's not a Donovan Mitchell thing. I'm not blaming him. We've asked him to shoulder a ton of the load here in Cleveland the past few seasons. So it just seems like every year around this time of year, boom, something lower body happens. There's my John Madden reference again. Didn't mean to do that. Whatever it is, the calf, it's a lower body injury every year. Is this year's, limiting injury for the playoffs, or is he going to be okay?
I mean, like TK said, we got time, and that's the most important thing. I mean, Cavs fans aren't really panicking because of one injury. The timing is awful, and it's always at the end of the year. It's always at the back half. I mean, you make the Harden trade and raise your ceiling to finally have the chance to break through the second round, hopefully, and then you make a move because you believe your core is ready to take the next step, but then you can't build continuity with your stars in and out of the lineup. It doesn't help that they've only had like 3 practices since Harden's been on this team. That doesn't help at all either. But I mean, you can't build a playoff identity when your rotation changes every single night. And you definitely can't evaluate, the Harden, Mitchell, Mobley trio, when they barely shared the floor together. The anxiety isn't about the talent. It's about the availability. I think that one thing that works in their favor right now is the schedule. Cleveland has one of the softest remaining slates in the league. I said slates, and that matters. It gives them the breathing room. It gives them, the winnable games, even while shorthanded. It gives them a chance to stay in the top of half of the East without having to, play a perfect basketball game, which is important. I think, the stretch isn't about style points. It's about staying afloat while the roster stabilizes and gets healthy.
Yeah.
The next few weeks are all about survival and timing. I think. I mean, Harden's thumb. Has to heal cleanly. I mean, you have to use both hands to be able to dribble the ball, let alone facilitate, shoot. I mean, it's unrealistic to think that even though it's your offhand, the tip of your thumb is not important. I think, at any time you re-aggravate that injury as well, you might be restarting your timetable as well. So, I don't know. They just need him healthy. If that means sitting him, I mean, it's a 6 to 8 week recovery. Some people are saying that's a long time, but obviously it sucks. This timing sucks, dude. I mean, I don't necessarily want him gutting him out. I just want him to be healthy for the playoffs. Mitchell needs to get past the groin issues without setbacks. That's the most important thing as well. And as we've seen for the past few years, those things linger. Let's get him healthy. Mobley needs to keep trending upwards as well. I mean, his recent performance against Detroit was awesome. I mean, he was aggressive, confident, dominant. It was probably, the best sign this team has had in weeks, but it also kind of sucks that he's doing it while he's the only one on the court, and without the stars. If they can get 2 of the 3 stars healthy in a given time, I think they'll win enough games to hold their position. But I mean, I don't think that's important. I think the East is wide open. I think, even as long as we're healthy, I think we have a very good chance of going far in the playoffs. This team enters the postseason with Harden, Mitchell, and Mobley all available. They're absolutely still in the mix to win the East and probably, dare I say, the NBA championship. Even with the loss in Detroit, the Cavs walked out of the locker room, believing that they're the better team. And honestly, they didn't sound delusional. When they're whole, they have the talent, they have the versatility. I think now the defensive backbone to beat anyone, especially with the addition of Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder. But the margin for error, I think, is gone. A compromised Harden changes the offense. A limited Mitchell changes the spacing and shot creation. Evan Mobley missing time changes the entire identity of the defense. But the ceiling hasn't changed. The path to, reaching it still just got a lot tighter. I think, there's no need to panic. As TK said, let's get healthy. That's the first and foremost, absolute thing they have to do. I think the schedule gives them a cushion, which is very important, but, the playoffs absolutely won't. This team still has the talent to make a run, that the front office envisioned, that we all envision. I truly envision when we traded Darius Garland, and I love Darius Garland, they just need the bodies to match the blueprint, I think. So.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel a little better. I mean, I think you're going to have to manage Donovan Mitchell's minutes, right? Don't tell Adam Silver. Don't go medieval on you.
Right.
So weird. Whatever. I get it. I mean, you don't want a watered down product. People pay good money to go see it. Paying these guys plenty of money with the NBA contracts are just wild. Yeah. I get it. You want them on the floor. I understand. But also, guys, the playoffs are the main thing, right? Like that's what guys want to be healthy for the playoffs. So let's not penalize them too much for getting some rest down the stretch. But whatever. Not my league. I'm not the commissioner. I don't run it. I can't make decisions for him. You brought up the Cavs schedule, but it's weird. They play Brooklyn today. They're at Brooklyn today. They play in that, they're at Brooklyn. That's fine. Rematch with Detroit. We'll get to do that again. And then they've got 5 days off until they play Boston at home again. I thought that was just weird. Like, it's like another little mini all-star break. You got like a 5-day break there in the schedule, which is odd. I can't find another 5-day break anywhere on the schedule. I don't even know if that's like that for the rest of the league. I have no idea. I told TK yesterday, it's like Pee-wee ball. Like a team didn't have enough players, so they canceled a game or something on like the 5th. Right. It's so weird.
I think that might be important just for them getting healthy as well, though. That time off, like I said, they've played so many games. They've been on the road. They've played so many back. They've had 3 practices since Harden's been on this team. Like, I mean, that sense of rest and just ability to have continuity a little bit and just get out on the court and just play as a team and practice is going to be huge as well. On top of healing from those ailments. So.
Well, and this stretch where they played February 19th, the 20th, the 22nd, the 24th, the 25th, and the 27th. Like, that's pretty wild. You deserve 5 days. Yeah. That's a lot. I mean, I know it's like, oh, they get paid, but it's physically demanding. You're playing on hardwood. Like, that's a lot on your body. So yeah, maybe they deserve the 5 days off, and think of 5 days of rest and treatment for Donovan Mitchell and that groin injury. That's probably going to do wonders. It's not going to do much for broken finger, broken thumb. Obviously 5 days of healing is 5 days of healing, but you can do more with soft tissue stuff during that time. So, okay, that's fine. You've got me. I'm not panicking anymore. I'm fine. I feel better.
There's a small timetable though. We just got to keep moving on and staying afloat. That's the big thing here. So
works for me. When we get back, we're going to take a 5-minute break. We'll panic about another team with injuries. So I'm not panicking. I'm not panicking anymore about the Cavs, but now I'm going to panic about the Guardians a little bit. No, I'm not going to panic, but I do have questions about Chase DeLauder. I wonder if the Reese Hoskins signing may have possibly signaled something to us as fans that maybe a lot of people, maybe the Guardians aren't saying that we didn't catch. I haven't heard anybody talk about it, but it's in the back of my mind. I can't get it out of there. So we'll talk about that when we come back, but let's take a 5-minute break. And we will be right back on the Sunday Sports Show right here on the Inside Edge Network. And again, we're brought to you by LPV Productions. And of course, please, I got 2 TKs. Hello, welcome back, TK. We had 2 of you in the studio for a moment. I was like, I don't know what's happening. We've cloned TK. Yeah, when we come back, like I said, we'll talk about the Guardians. We'll talk about a couple little things that are just kind of bugging me in spring training going into we got the opener coming up here at the end of the month. So they've got some time to get that fixed, but hopefully they can get it fixed. And again, we're going to please visit our sponsor, AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Mentioned it earlier, the Inside Edge 20, the code to get 20% off your order. Other than that, like I said, we will be right back. Give us about 5 minutes. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's a little after 1 here on the Sunday Sports Show. We are brought to you by LPV Productions, by our network-wide sponsor, Allie Rose Fragrances. So please remember to visit her, AllieRoseFragrances.com. And of course, we're here on the Inside Edge Network. So while I've got you, while you're watching, while you're listening, while you're whatever you're doing, you may be multitasking. You may just have us. Maybe you got us on some earbuds, and you're cruising around the house doing some work. You're not in the yard. Well, my yard's a puddle. I mean, we've talked about how bad my yard gets. Whatever. I won't be able to mow until June, but that's fine. While you're doing whatever you're doing, if you're watching us, if you're listening, whatever you're doing, just take the moment just to click over and follow us. And I've put up we're everywhere. We're all over social media at Inside Edge Net. We're on YouTube, right? We're on Twitter. If you're watching us on Twitter right now, just creep over and maybe back out for 1 second, find our account, click the follow button, and then get right back into the show. Don't miss anything. Don't want to miss anything. But please follow us on Twitter. Follow us. Subscribe on YouTube, right? Make sure that you are in the position to be notified when we go live, so you never miss anything. We've got so much talent and so many shows on the network. You don't want to miss anything. Again, tonight we'll have the main event, 10 o'clock. Ryan. Rob, Eli. I don't know. Ryan may be on. Who knows? Rob, Eli, and Anthony will get you. They'll cap off your weekend with a little bit of sports talk, whatever's going on.
My wife would kill me, by the way. No way.
Yeah, Ryan will not be on that show tonight. No, we don't want that. We want Ryan to stay alive. That usually is better, just for going forward type situations. So no Ryan deaths. We don't want that. But yeah, follow us. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're all over the place. So please, wherever you see the Inside Edge Net logo, give us a follow. We're like I said before, we're grassroots. We're building this whole thing from the ground up. We appreciate you in here watching, but your support matters as far as follows go too. So please follow, like, subscribe, whatever social media. Like I said, wherever you find us, just please give us a follow, give us a like, comment on our things. Please engage with us. It helps us grow, and it helps us bring you better content in the long run. So that is that. And let me see, what do we have to talk about now? I guess let's just check in with the Guardians. We had the Guardians preview show on the network a couple weeks ago, but we on this show haven't talked too much Guardians, and there's not a whole lot to get into. It's spring training, it's early. You've got things that you expect, like Jose Ramirez leading the team in home runs and RBIs right now. That's fine. That's great. We want to see that. It's good to see Jose getting off to a quick start. Not surprised. He's a baseball player, man. So much fun to watch play. Glad he's here in Cleveland. I can't say it enough. Just appreciate Jose Ramirez and everything that he is, everything that he stands for. Amazing to have him be such an integral part of this franchise. Not just a blip on the radar like some guys. Whatever. Some guys come and go and they make a huge impact. But man, Jose's he's a Guardian. He's a Cleveland guy through and through. So that's awesome to see. But what concerns me right now, guys, Chase DeLauter was scratched a couple of days ago, I think Wednesday of this week, with a lower body injury. The Guardians don't typically say too much about what's going on injury wise, and that's fine. That's okay. We don't need, whatever. We don't need all that information, I guess. But what I am concerned with, you've got Stephen Kwan. It's been noted that he's moving to center. Now, a couple of weeks ago, Chase DeLauter was going to be the center fielder. Remember, we talked about, on a couple of different shows, we talked about DeLauter moving over to center field, maybe playing that role full time. Now, all of a sudden, you've got Stephen Kwan moving over. They signed Rhys Hoskins unexpectedly a little bit. They needed a right-handed bat. I'm not surprised to see them go out and get a right-handed bat, but the fact that they picked up a right-handed bat in Rhys Hoskins, who's also available, he can play left field. It just makes me feel concerned, and maybe I'm the only one. Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but I know how these things go. And with DeLauter, I think he's played 138 games since he was drafted here in 2022 in the minors. So about 40, 45 games a year. Not what you want to see. Not enough time. He's put up some really good numbers. Just hasn't really been on the field consistently. So Ryan, I'll start with you. Did the Guardians sign Rhys Hoskins as an insurance policy for Chase DeLauter's injury? Do they think maybe, without saying it publicly and to us or whatever, they don't know us any explanations, but do you think that they think he's going to be out for a little bit longer than maybe we hope.
I do think it was insurance policy, but I don't think it was because they were declining to or like hiding something from the fan base. I mean, the Chase DeLauder situation isn't about one spring, scratch. It's not. It's about the pattern. I mean, every time this kid starts to build momentum, something gets in the way. Sports hernias, broken hamate. I don't even know what the hell that is. Delayed development. I mean, limited MLB reps, and now he's just supposed to settle into an everyday role, and he gets pulled with a lower body soreness. I mean, the team calls it precautionary. Sure. I mean, it could be, and maybe it is, but fans aren't reacting to this injury. They're reacting to the history behind it. When a player with his resume gets scratched in February, even for something minor, the organization pays attention, and honestly, they should. I mean, that's why the Guardians didn't need some secret piece of information to make a move. I mean, they already knew the risk that with Chase DeLauder. So, they knew their outfield depth was, talented but unproven and pretty thin. They know their lineup desperately needed a right-handed power, as you said. They couldn't afford another season where one injury leaves them scrambling for offense. So, even if DeLauder's scratch was truly precautionary, I mean, and everything publicly, suggests that it was, the front office wasn't going to sit around and hope. They acted like a team that expects to contend. You bring in Rhys Hoskins, like you said, this wasn't a depth flyer. This wasn't a maybe he sticks kind of deal. This was a legitimate middle of the order, bat falling into their laps on a minor league contract. Like, what the hell? I mean, Hoskins gives them something they've lacked for years, like a real right-handed power threat, who can change a game with one swing. He's a professional hitter who works counts. He doesn't chase. He brings a level of offensive maturity that stabilizes the young lineup. He lengthens the order. He forces pitchers to change their approach. He takes pressure off guys like Manzardo, Naylor, even Jose. And the part that matters for the DeLauder conversation, Hoskins has played outfield, like you said, in big games, in the big leagues. Not well enough to win a Gold Glove, of course, but well enough to stand in the corner spot and not sink you. Early in his Phillies career, he logged real innings in left and right because they, needed his bat in the lineup, and he just wanted to play. So they threw him in. He's obviously a true first baseman. That's all that Cleveland needs: competence, not brilliance. The picture gets clearer now. I think DeLauder gets scratched. The outfield picture gets shaky, and Hoskins arrives. Even if the Guardians didn't know anything beyond what they have publicly said with Chase DeLauder, they didn't need to. Like I said, his history has told them everything they need to know about risk management. And Rhys Hoskins gives them a legitimate bat, a stabilizing presence, and a fallback option if the outfield depth gets tested again. He's more than a first base bat. He's lineup insurance. He's roster insurance and injury insurance. I don't think they were hiding anything. I think that they were being realistic. DeLauder has had enough time, staying on the field. And when he gets scratched again, even for something minor, they weren't going to gamble this season on optimism. Hoskins gives them a real bat and real stability. And I think that the fact that they can play in the outfield, if they need him to, that matters as well. The timing lines up perfectly with the uncertainty around DeLauder. I think, this front office is acting like a team that's tired of being one injury away from a thin lineup, and they're finally doing something about it. So.
Yeah, Zuber says he'll platoon with Manzardo. And I agree with that. I like I said, I wonder with Quan moving to center.
Yeah, maybe DH as well. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, you've got you've got a very versatile bat. And I think what you're telling me, Ryan, is that two things can be true. Like Hoskins had to be a guy that you got. I mean, you had to go get him. I mean, he's right there. I think with Detroit signing Framber Valdez and having two really good lefties at the top of their rotation, I think that left the Guardians kind of vulnerable to that. Without that big right-handed bat. And now I think they have some, like you said, some protection for Jose Ramirez. Do you get the impression that Hoskins will hit fourth in this lineup behind Ramirez, or where do you, I don't know. Where do you think they put him?
I'm not sure, actually. Let's get the spring training go through. Get him acclimated with the team. I don't know. He started a DH there. If DeLauder is not going to be able to play, throw him out in the outfield, and let's see how his bat, turns out with this team.
Yeah,
I'm just happy he's here. He's on a minor league contract, and it's $1.5 million, which is nothing. And this guy's a legitimate right-handed batter, and I'm excited to see what he can do on this team. I don't know necessarily where he bats, but I'm just excited that his bat's in our lineup. So
yeah, and listen, this is another point too. You're bringing up prospects, and we haven't even really talked about Travis Bazzana either. You've got him, and there's 80 games in left field. You bring it up, whatever. the Guardians have like an interesting situation now. They've almost got, if everybody pans out, and almost, no one ever does. And this is what I wonder too, Superbro. I wonder this out loud too, and everyone tells me no, he's going to play second base. But I think Bazana, he does profile as an outfielder. I think he could play left field. I don't know how strong his arm is. Sometimes you wonder with second baseman, does he have the arm to play right field? Because typically, obviously, in the major leagues, you want your right fielder to have the strongest arm. But I think they've got this interesting problem where if DeLauder gets healthy, they've got Rhys Hoskins, they've got Quan, you've got Manzardo, if he can, build on what he did last year. Jose Ramirez is always going to be Jose Ramirez, right? And then you've got guys in the minors. Maybe you have like almost too many guys for some of these spots, and that's a good problem to have. And I'm looking at, and by the way, I'm just looking over at Rhys Hoskins' spring stats. TK, let me ask you this. Hoskins is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Did we just cut him? We just cut him, right?
Nah, you gotta let the guy get his feet under him.
Okay.
You gotta also think, 2025 was really rough for Rhys Hoskins out there in Milwaukee. Right. Very injury-riddled year.
Yeah.
Only had 12 home runs.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to unpack there for the year that he had last year. Just wanted to get his feet under him, get that swing back. There's no rush. This is spring training for a reason. You're going to be on the opening day roster, brother. We're going to have a spot for you. So I really just want him to get back into the swing of things. Get your feet under you, get that swing back together. Test that injury out. See exactly where you are. There's no need to play leapfrog so early into the season.
Yeah. Well, and Super Brother says Hoskins was in the booth. See, this is my point. They're already prepping him to cut him. They're going to keep him as part of the media team.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not going to cut him? Okay, fine. They're not going to cut him.
And you talked about Bazana there. I mean, regardless if they throw him in the outfield or not, they're not going to rush him. Regardless, they are not going to rush him. His approach, his plate discipline. I mean, how he handles big lead velocity will determine the timeline. Nothing else will. And his health. Yeah. So those things are incredibly important. But he has the talent to make it uncomfortable for them. As I said, I think last week. I don't think even sliding him in the outfield is going to fix him. I think he's just got to work on it in the minor leagues a little bit. There's no rush for him. Well, and if they rush him and it doesn't go well, he's going to be could be bad news. So
yeah, and this is what the Super Brothers brought up my point. This is my next point. There's a lot of this unnecessary pressure on him because other guys in his in his draft class are already up and doing things. Nick Kurtz, a couple other guys that are doing some things or whatever. But does that matter? I mean, we don't, we develop on our own, right? Like we don't have to develop at the same time as everybody else that we get drafted around, but he is 23. That's a good point. And this is, it's like we're the same person when it comes to baseball. This is exactly my next point too. If Bazana goes out in the World Baseball Classic and just absolutely shows out, that's got to speed up his timeline a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. TK, are you sure we don't want to cut Rhys Hoskins? He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Are you sure? Sometimes this fan base is very knee-jerk reactionary. Are you sure we don't cut him? You cut yourself. I think you're
TK,
muted.
you're muted, buddy. You muted yourself.
Can I? Oh, wait.
There you go.
I don't think you cut him at all.
Fine.
He has less than 5 home runs by July 11th. Yeah, you tell us to take but yeah, I definitely think we got to be patient with Rhys. We got to be patient. He's going to be 33 this year.
Yeah.
Coming off a rough injury. If we make this signing, that would mean that we expect him to get better either before or during the season, and that he's going to be a huge piece of our lineup moving forward.
Yeah.
So whatever hiccups, whatever obstacles, whatever breakdowns that may, come within the course of the season, we got to roll with that. Because in the back of our minds, we know exactly the type of player that Rhys Hoskins really is.
Yeah. And for the record, I'm kidding. I do not want to cut Rhys Hoskins. I will get off to a slow start. He can do whatever.
No one does.
He's here for 12 minutes. He can do whatever he wants. And the Super Brothers, one more question before we move on to what's on our minds. He says, how does Hoskins still not have an endorsement with Reese's Peanut Butter Cups? simple answer: Major League Baseball is terrible at marketing their players. They don't know who he is. They have no idea who Rhys Hoskins is. Absolutely no clue who that is. They're like, who is that? We don't even know.
When he got hurt last year, he turned into Reese's Pieces. So
that's great. Oh man. Yeah. Josh Bell. It didn't work out, but I think Rhys Hoskins is a higher floor than Josh Bell. It's not more of a sure thing, but probably higher percentage to be more of a sure thing. How about that? I think that's fair. Okay, that's the Guardians spring training update. The pitching's doing fine. Hitting's going to come around. It's hard to hit this time of year. Nobody's really used to having the bat in their hands. It's easier for pitchers in spring training to get going. Hitters usually take a while, and we know the Guardians typically don't really start to really hit the ball really well until the weather gets warm up here in Northeast Ohio. So we've got that too. But now I want to end it. And I don't know who wants to go first today, but we don't talk about what's on our minds. A lot of stuff lately. Just a lot of things going on in the world and sports, in life in general. Just plenty of stuff to have on your minds. And sometimes it weighs a little bit heavy, and it's good for us to get it off our chest. And maybe you've got something on your chest too. And maybe it helps to listen to us, whatever, talk about it. Who wants to go first? TK, Ryan, you guys have a thought?
I don't care. Whatever.
Okay. TK, why don't you go first, buddy?
I'm going to be real quick with mine. As you guys already know, it is the first of the month, the 1st of March. It's a very big day for me. Really shouldn't be, but just to show the magnitude of how much these people mean to me. It is my parents' 38th wedding anniversary. They were married today, 38 years ago.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much for that. Wishing the absolute best of anniversaries. To my beautiful parents, Michelle and Anthony Dandridge. I think they just went out to lunch not too long ago.
All right.
Hope
Wait,
those
they're not watching the show? They're not watching the show? I was
No,
going to
that's
wish them happy anniversary too. Oh, come on.
Well, that's their special day. I want them to go ahead and enjoy that, and I'm sure they will.
That's fair.
But yeah, definitely a happy 38th wedding anniversary to my wonderful parents, and I hope they have a wonderful day.
Happy anniversary, Michelle and Anthony.
Truly,
We appreciate you for bringing us TK and immense knowledge of the Carolina Panthers. We couldn't do it without them. I'm kidding. Happy anniversary. That's awesome. Amazing.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, of course, man. That's an awesome day. 30 years. Wow. That's a long time. That's awesome. Great. Congratulations, man. That's great. Ryan, what is on your mind, buddy?
Yeah, man. 38 years. First of all, super. That's awesome, man. My wife and I are about to hit 10 in a couple months, so it's exciting. I can't wait to get to 38. That'd be just an incredible testament to love and just cherish, man. So congratulations to your parents, man. That's really awesome.
Thank you.
So last couple of weeks I have been not very lighthearted. I talked about the Epstein list. I talked about mental health. I talked about Super Bowl and human trafficking. I'm gonna go light this week, guys. Tired of being negative, or well, not negative, but just bringing light to things that some seem as taboo. This week I wanted to talk about something lighter, something that honestly fills me with more joy than anything else in my life right now. My boys are finally getting to the age where I can start training them for sports. And I can't even explain how excited that makes me. I've been unofficially training them for a while, teaching them how to trust their bodies, take smart physical risks, and most importantly, have fun doing it. But now we're getting close to the real thing. My oldest son, James, turns 5 in July, and this kid is a natural. I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I say he climbs anything better than any kid older than him. He's climbing all the trees 30 feet in our yard. It's insane. My wife is having a heart attack sometimes, nonetheless. But he's fearless, but not reckless too. He's very intentional, and that's rare in a little kid. Then there's his brother Callum, who turns 3 in April. Built like a tank, strong, high motor, and always moving. I feel like I'm breaking down my kids' NFL practice.
Have you put them to the algorithm? Yeah.
Always trying something new. He's advanced for his age too, and you can already see the competitive spark in him, and he wants to keep up with his big brother, and half the time he actually does. And I have my newborn Jack as well, the future little wrecking ball, who's going to follow right behind them. But I played sports my entire life. I wrestled 13 13 years. I played baseball, I played football, I did BJJ, I played D2 college football. Wrestling has been the sport that shaped me the most. I wasn't great at first. It took me a few years to understand the sport, to learn the technique, and to figure out how to use my body the right way. But once it clicked, I took off, and I went to state several times, placed 6th in nationals at one point, made a name for myself in the wrestling community, and made friendships that have lasted my entire life. The wrestling community is tight. You compete against each other, but you also grow together and become family. And now I get to pass that on. I'm turning my garage into a full wrestling and MMA room. I have mats, gloves, pads, weights, everything that they'll need. I've been acquiring these items. I've been acquiring these items for cheap and storing them away for years now, just because I knew this day was going to come as soon as my son was first son was born. My plan is simple. I'm going to teach them the fundamentals for 2 years before they join a team, and then teach them technique, discipline, and body awareness. Confidence. Let them walk into their first practice already understanding the sport instead of spending 2 years just trying to figure out what's going on like I did. I want them to have fun. I want them to love it, but I also want them to be ready. Day one, no learning curve, no confusion, just confidence and joy. I've been waiting for this my entire life. I have sons, to have sons and to teach them the beautiful sport of wrestling, which I think will set them up for any other sport that they could would like to play in the future if they decide to play sports. And now that time's finally here, and I've been waiting for so long. I'm so damn excited. So that's what I want to talk about.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. So my daughter has been taking Taekwondo for the past few weeks or whatever. She's really getting into it. I'm watching her physically progress through it and do better and better every time she goes. And it's really cool. I took martial arts for a long time when I was a kid. I had to quit for high school sports. I was a 2nd degree brown belt when I stopped. Unfortunately, I wanted to get to my black belt, but I was a couple years away. The style that I took was very, very old school and very disciplinary. They wouldn't promote you to a black belt until you were 18. So I had 2 promotions to go over 4 years, and it's I had to pick between that and high school sports anyway. So I did end up dropping out. I want to say I regret it. I wish I could have kept going. Sure. I had to you had to be there every day. I played football, basketball, baseball a lot, mostly just basketball, baseball. But at that point, it was kind of didn't know what I wanted to do, so I had to make a decision. But yeah, I think martial arts is very much like wrestling. It's discipline, body control. You learn so much about yourself. You learn to push your limits in a safe, kind of a monitored way, but you really learn what you're all about very, very quickly. And man, I really enjoyed it, and it's fun to see her enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I guess
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's awesome. I love the MMA wrestling. It's just awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. Good for you guys, man.
Thanks, man.
You seem like a great father, man. I mean, it's
I tried, man. It's hard, but I love my boys with all my heart.
It is hard, but nothing worth doing is easy, right? So you got to work at it, and I think you do a great job of that.
Thanks.
But yeah, what's on my mind? I just, man, treat each other and treat people with kindness, man. We're so divided right now in a lot of different ways. Just you look at social media and everything's so divisive. I mean, my goodness, man, you see a positive post about somebody committing to play football to school, and there's 40% of the comments are making fun of them because they're not going to a different school, whatever. Just remember that everybody has their own story, right? We all develop our own ways. We all think our own ways. Just try to treat each other and treat your whoever. Just treat people with kindness. Give people the benefit of the doubt, right? Have a little bit of patience. Get out and maybe hang out with someone who does things differently than you. Learn a different culture. Your way isn't always the right way, and that goes for me too. My way isn't always the right way. I'd like to just have experiences. Go out and experience life in a way that maybe you're out of your comfort zone a little bit. You'd be surprised at what you learn, not only about other people but about yourself. So I guess that's what's on my mind. Just short and sweet. Just give people the benefit of the doubt. Be patient. Be kind, man. People are going through a lot, and sometimes it's not always visible. People don't always wear their emotions on their sleeves. They may look like they're super happy, well-adjusted, have everything figured out, but inside they're screaming, right? They're struggling. They can't unbury themselves from whatever they're buried in or whatever they feel like they're buried in. So please, that's my message today. Just be kind to people, treat each other with kindness, with patience, give people the benefit of the doubt, and just, man, for the love of God, realize that maybe your way isn't the exact perfect way, right? Maybe somebody else has something a little bit figured out, and you don't have to completely change. Just take a little bit from this person, a little bit from that person, a little bit from this culture, you'd be surprised how fulfilled your life could feel. So that's all I got. Guys, thanks for watching us. We appreciate you. Again, please, take the time to follow us. We're all over social media. It's YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're everywhere, guys. So please, your support matters. We see it. We feel it. We appreciate it. We love you so much for sticking with us. Almost 150 people in here when there's really nothing to talk about. We don't have any Browns. We don't, you know what I mean? Like, we're just we've got the combine, and that's great. We can look forward to the draft, but really no notable sports going there. The Olympics are over. Everything's kind of winding down. We've got almost 150 people in here live with us still. So again, we appreciate you. We could not do it without you. But we also need your support in other ways. So please follow us on social media. Please just go click that follow button on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow the TikTok. A lot of short form content. If you're not into like 2-3 hour shows, whatever, that's fine. We get that. Obviously, those of you who are in here are. But if you want your content in more short form variety, we've got that on TikTok. We've got that on Instagram with the Facebook Reels. Just go follow us. Go like our page. Go subscribe to us or whatever. And I'll put us up here too. I mean, you see our handles down there. I'm at Real Chad Bryan, basically on every social media. You can find me everywhere at Real Chad Bryan, at Brewster Pink 92 for TK, at Dynasty CLE for Ryan. You can find him on Twitter. Does a lot. And the Super Brother says, as the kids say, please like and subscribe. Yeah. Actually, please pound that like button and
smash it. Yeah.
Whatever.
Real quick, I just wanted to plug Thursday at 7:00, my podcast, the Commissioner's Couch Fantasy Football Podcast on the Inside Edge Network. We'll be going live at 7:00 with my partner, David Cahoon. We will be the last 2 weeks we broke down our quarterbacks. We did 12 total quarterbacks. This week, we're going to break down 6 of our top favorite wide receivers. We get in depth. It's a lot of fun. Come check us out. And then we're going to continue receivers for a couple weeks. So check us out. And then obviously their show is incredible as well, Illegal Formation. Want them to talk about that. So.
There you go. Yeah, TK and I are with you every Saturday morning about 11 o'clock. We're going to talk about pretty much everything from, I don't know, I mean, AI highlight videos and high school football. You got to worry about that if you're a college coach now.
That's crazy.
All the normal stuff that's going on around here. So again, please take the time to follow us. We're everywhere: Facebook, X, YouTube, Twitter. I said 2 things: X and Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on the Book of Faces. Whatever. No, TikTok. Just please follow us everywhere. We do appreciate that. And I guess in the meantime, just tune into the main event tonight. That'll be about 10 o'clock, where Rob, Anthony, and Eli will take you through, just kind of cap off your weekend, let you know what's going on in the world of sports. It's a pretty easy watch. So they do a great job with that. So again, we appreciate you guys more than you know, and we will see you here on the Sunday Sports Show on the Inside Edge Network. Brought to you by Alley Rose Fragrances and LPV Productions. Please don't forget to visit AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Order your candles, order your body mist, get your 20% off. Inside Edge 20 is the code. And that's it, guys. I think we're out of here. So we will see you next week here on the Sunday Sports Show, and we'll see you all week. Don't forget that, of course, Eli Moon and I will bring you Inside Edge Prime Time Monday through Thursday at 10 o'clock. And one more show. We've got Midnight Run with Anthony Alford at midnight. We've got so much. I mean, there's the Side Hustle Wrestling podcast.
Some fantastic content all over.
I mean, seriously, Real Talk with Papa Moon is Saturdays at 5 p.m. Great episode with Eli yesterday. I watched it. That was a lot of fun. Hearing about Eli's album release, just everything that's going on right now. We've got Jersey Chasers every Wednesday night at 7:30. They get you started for the prime time. We'll roll right into. It's just amazing how much we have going on. Don't forget Conversations with Eli Moon. And then eventually, I think we have a new show called Mic Check. I don't have a promo for that one just yet. I thought I had that one, but we got a new show called Mic Check coming up. It's going to be starting in the month of March. So this month, we'll be starting a brand new show right here on the Inside Edge Network. We've got so much more on deck. I mean, we've got ideas. We're just trying to figure out how to make more time. We need 36 hours in the day to make all this work. So
right.
We appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week here on the Sunday Sports Show. I will see you all week on the Inside Edge Network. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.